So why don't we all come up to stand? Just take your time. For those of you who've just arrived, just take your time to find some space, and we're going to start standing, so there's no rush. And in the practice today, I'm quite a creative practitioner. I like to draw upon inspiration from nature in my work. So we're going to kind of think about how the mountains can influence our practice and how our connection with nature correlates to our own nature. So thinking about our inner landscape and how that connects to the outer landscape, or the outer landscape and how that connects to the inner landscape. So think of it as an exploration, and that is sometimes the exploration is enough, you know. So to explore is the journey, okay? So coming to stand in your time and just checking in that your toes are roughly parallel to one another. You might find it useful just to take a look around the space in front of you, out to the sides, maybe just above. Just kind of get a sense of your immediate environment before you start to move more inwards to your body. Just soften your knees a little bit. So I'd like you just to spend a few moments noticing how you feel in your body, what it is that you're bringing into this space. How do you feel on a physical level? So perhaps be aware of tension or sensation. How do you feel on an emotional and mental level? So just notice the thought patterns, notice the activities of your mind. Just be aware of what's happening. Notice what your starting point is. And I'd just like to put this question to you all to reflect upon: why am I here today? So why am I practicing yoga today? What is my intention? It could be something so simple as I just want to stretch. Or it could be that I want to feel calm and centered. There's so many possibilities. So just consider that for yourselves and honor that intention as you go through the practice today. Your personal exploration of your inner landscape. Bringing your awareness to the ground, the earth. And just notice that you are standing on the ground. How does it feel through the soles of your feet? Just let that pull of gravity bring you down towards the earth. And try not to resist that. You're standing, you're here, you're present. And then bring your awareness to the crown of your skull, the space above you. And just notice that you are placed between the earth, the ground, and the space above you. And see if you can almost lengthen into that space, but without lifting your chin or bringing tension into your shoulders. Just see what space you can find in your body between the soles of your feet and the crown of your head, as if you're inviting yourself into that space around you. And notice how that feels. And we'll take 3 centering breaths, whereby you inhale through the nostrils and invite a soft sigh out through the mouth. Let your jaw relax. Sigh the breath out through the mouth, and almost allow that sigh to descend down to the soles of your feet, to the earth. And as you breathe in, welcome the breath from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head through that space. And then as you exhale, sigh the breath out again. So just let that sigh act as an opportunity to release some tension. Perhaps your arms can rest by your sides, a sense of softness. And then the inhale comes again like an opportunity to invite that new breath, a new possibility on the inhale. Sigh the breath from the exhale. And then we're going to do something completely different. Something that's a bit more invigorating as a breath. And I'll just quickly show you this. So we're going to swing our arms 3 times, all on one breath. But we're going to pause the breath. So it's like inhale, 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 ha! And then we kind of let it drop through the hands. And with that forward fold, just make it a gentle forward fold. Some of you might prefer to move a little more deeply, really soften into the knees. But it's one inhale, we're just breaking it up through those sections and then ha! Releasing down. Okay, so when you're ready, starting the breath in. And just do that once more. And then slowly return and just notice how you feel. So just welcome that moment of invigoration, that potential adrenaline or sensation. Just be aware of the sensations in your body. And then come back to a calming breath, whereby the exhalation connects you towards the earth and the inhale rises in the body again. And the next time that you exhale, just invite your chin to look over your left shoulder. And then as you inhale, bring your head to center. And the exhale to the right. So just continue with this little pattern for maybe twice more to each side. If you prefer to stay and take a breath in on one side, then please do so. Or you can continue with a slow, this is like a slow motion no. And then when you've done that a couple of times, you bring your head to center. Then we're going to do a slow motion yes. Inhale and just lift the chin. And then exhale and release down towards your throat. And just be careful when you lift the chin that you're not overemphasizing anything in the neck. It's just a little raise, enough for you to feel some stretch through the front of your neck. And then same when you bring it in, just enough for you to feel some length coming in through the sides of the neck. And then bringing your head to center when you complete after the next exhalation. And we'll bring our awareness to the shoulders. So you could either do this with your arms relaxed, or you could place your hands onto your shoulders. So on the breath in, the shoulders will come up, the elbows will come up towards the sky, and on the breath out, the elbows will release down. So if you're not doing this without the hands on the elbows, then shrugging and lifting and circling and rounding. And just have a sense that you're creating some space for your shoulders. It's so simple, just kind of enjoy a sense of movement, slowly awakening into your shoulders. And then changing direction, so to just explore that the opposite way. So if you're working with the elbows, lifting through, you might find there's a little more length through the side of the body, and then coming down on the exhale. And just taking that maybe once or twice more in your time. And when you've completed, just let your arms relax by your sides. And focus in on your left hand. You could watch this as well if you'd like to. So you, as in, watch your hand, not necessarily watch me. But as you breathe in, then just taking your arm up towards the sky. And then exhale over to your right hand side. And you can then release your gaze towards the ground. So the breath in, you stand tall. And then the breath out, release the arm down. And then swapping sides. So the breath in takes the arm up. And the breath out, stretch over. The breath in, press into the feet, just find your ground. And exhale and release down. And again on the other side. So just take your time to move through this pattern. Maybe just twice on each side. So you're just exploring how it feels on the side of the body. Find some space around your rib cage. As you breathe in, the lungs fill with air. So there's a capacity there for the lungs to fill and the rib cage expands. So you're almost favoring that sense of expansion in your rib cage. And then we're just going to shift that a little bit so that on the breath in, the arms come up towards the sky, and then on the breath out, we rotate. So then the arms come down towards the hips. So breathing in, center, breathe out, and just take yourself to one side. Let your arms relax by your sides. And again, just twice more, twice on each side, so 4 times in total, there or thereabouts. And just see what expanse there is across your chest, whilst keeping the sense of grounding through the soles of your feet. Coming back to center when you're ready. And just take a few moments, notice how you feel when you've completed. So find a point of focus with your gaze just on the ground somewhere ahead of you, and we're going to do some heel raises. So with the breath in, let your arms be relaxed by your sides. You come up onto the balls of the feet, and then with the breath out, you lower down. So just encouraging some strength into the soles of your feet, into your toes, into your ankles, your calves. It doesn't have to be very high. If you just like a post or something for support, you could always move yourself as well. And notice how the heels find the ground. Try not to rush that part. Have a little bit of control over how quickly those heels find the ground. And then if you'd like to include the arms, on the breath in, finding a little more expanse along the body, lifting and rising, and then on the breath out, releasing down and finding the ground again. And just exploring that maybe 3 more times once you've completed the round that you're on. Point of focus with the gaze is really useful. And then also just coordinating with the breath, trying to slow the movement down. And just see if you can have the arms moving at the same pace as the ankles, or the ankles moving at the same pace as the arms. So there's no rush through this. And then when you complete that, let the arms be by your sides. Take your time to come back up onto the balls of your feet, and then just go for a little walk around your mat. And just notice how the balls of your feet feel. Just get a feel for the earth in a different way. And then I'm going to invite you to plant the heels down, bend the knees deeply, and go for kind of a little deeper walk. Just getting those knees bent. And again, just find the ground in a different way. So notice how the feet find the ground. Feel free to change direction as you go. So just kind of almost expecting the unexpected as you go through the practice, which is often what happens when we're out on a hike or a run. There's always something that we're not going to be prepared for. Okay, when you're ready, I'd like you to really push in through the feet to bring yourself up as you breathe out. Almost as if you're coming into mountain. You're coming into mountain pose in your body. So really activate the thighs. Bring your hands in some way in front of the center of your chest. It could be a prayer position or just one hand over the other. And just notice if you are aware of a pulse or a rhythm. Just find that stillness once again. Exploring the way the breath in is expansive. The breath out is grounding. Can help to find that connection to the earth. And as you breathe in, take the arms up in the direction of the sky. And then on the breath out, really bending the knees and then folding yourself over the legs. So your tummy finds the thighs. And on a breath in, your knees go towards straight and lengthen the spine. So lifting the spine away from your legs. As you exhale, folding. So you're merging yourself towards the legs. And then on the breath in, bring yourself all the way up to stand. And exhale, the hands come to the heart space. Okay, we're going to do this quite a few times, so you'll find a rhythm. Okay, So breathing in, taking the arms up, find that length in your body, the top of your mountain, and breathing out, really bending the knees deeply, releasing and folding over those bent thighs. Then I'd like you to find space between your legs and your torso. The knees move towards straight, the hands can slide, lift and lengthen the spine, and then begin to draw your body into that space towards the legs, rounding and softening the back. On the breath in, lift the arms, rise to stand. Breathe out, hands come to heart. And repeating, so in your time, just letting that breath in, arms rise, bending the knees, find the ground, forward fold but into that squat position. Inhale, find space, find length, the spine lengthens, the legs lengthen, and then exhale and round yourself into that space. So begin to close the gap. Breathe in to rise. Breathe out, hands to heart. And repeating. So just continuing your time. So breath in, breath out. From that space, find length along the backs of your legs, along the spines, along your arms, and then exhale and close that space with your body. Breathe in to rise. Breathe out, hands to heart. And repeating. So continue in this way. This is like a half sun salutation, so just welcoming the sun, even though it may not be there at the moment, welcome it, and then exhale, round yourself into a ball-like shape. Breathe in and welcome the space again. Exhale to fold. Inhale and rise. And let's just take that once more in your time. So don't worry necessarily about my directions, just taking yourself through that journey, through your own landscape, exploring those paths in your time. And when you complete that round, just let your hands come into the center of your chest again. And just take a few moments to notice how you feel. So you come back into your mountain and you're still for a few moments. So we always pause. We're not continually climbing. There's opportunities to rest. There's opportunities to pause and take stock and notice what we feel. So be aware of those sensations in your body in this moment. Okay, sigh the breath out. So you might find it useful just to watch this kind of little sequence, just so you get an idea of where we're going to go. Be from the back of the mat, and the feet will be together. And we're going to turn one foot out, take a step forwards. The first part of this sequence is to take the arms up towards the sky. The second part is to bend the knees and come into warrior, but we have the arms in like a cactus position. And then a sense of lift in the chest on the breath in. And then on the exhale, you can either bring your hands to your lower back or the ground. And on the breath in, then we're coming into a real forward-leaning warrior. So the chest is over the thighs, the arms come alongside you. And exhale here, really bringing the tummy in towards the spine. Breathe in to lift into warrior, and then exhale, hands to heart. And then we'll step back. We'll do the same thing on the opposite side. We're going to go through that sequence 3 times on each side. And when we come into this forward-leaning warrior, the second time you'll have the option to take the arms out at shoulder level. The third time you'll have the option to take the arms out into alongside the ears. But either of those options are available. Okay? So let's come towards the back of the mat. Let's take your time to have a steady base. And then turning the right toes out a little, take a step forward with your left foot. Soften a little into the front knee, really anchor down through the back thigh. Come back into your breath. So the exhale connects towards the earth. The inhale rises towards the sky. On a breath in, take the arms up towards the sky. On a breath out, bending your front knee, bring the elbows down a little, and then inhale, lifting the chest, lift the heart. Exhale, forward fold. So hands either to lower back or the ground, and your front leg can move towards straight. On your next breath in, lift the chest, but you're over your front knee. The arms are alongside you. The chin draws in towards the spine. Breathe in to rise, lifting the chest. Arms rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Step your front foot back. Turn your left toes out. Step your right foot forwards. Breathe in with the arms. Breathe out, coming into warrior. So the elbows come in. Inhale, lifting the chest. Find some space. Exhale to fold forwards. Hands either towards your lower back or the ground. Inhale, bend the front knee, lifting the chest. You're in that forward lean again. Really anchor down through the back leg. Exhale to stay here, hugging your tummy in. Breathe in and rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Step your front foot back. Turn your right toes out. Step your left foot forwards. So we're going to continue with this pattern. Inhaling the arms. Exhale, sinking into warrior. Breath in to be spacious. Breath out, forward fold. The front leg moves towards straight. And then breathing in into that forward leaning warrior. You have the option then to take your arms out at shoulder level, or you could keep them by your side still. Anchor down on the exhale, find the ground, pause, and then rise on the inhale. Find a sense of lift. Exhale, hands to heart. Front leg towards straight. Step your feet back. Your left toes turn out. Your right foot steps forward. So hopefully there's a rhythm happening now. Breathing in the arms. Breathe out into warrior. Lift on the breath in. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, coming into that forward lean, really anchor down through the feet. Arms can be by your sides, alongside your ears, and then exhale like you're hugging everything in. You're finding the ground. Inhale and rise towards the sky. Exhale, bring it back home. Step your feet back together. Okay, right toes turn out, left foot steps forwards. So hopefully there's a familiarity now. So the breath in, the rise. The breath out, we come into our warrior. Inhale and lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, this time your arms can be either by your sides, out at shoulder level, or reach in front of you, finding that ground, especially through the back foot, really anchoring down, and then inhale and rise fully. Exhale, come back. Stepping your feet back together. Opposite side. So take your time. The breath in, the breath out. Inhale, lift into that heart space. Exhale, release into forward fold. Inhale, so either of those options with the arms alongside, out at shoulders, or forwards in front of you, and then ground down. Abdomen comes in, and then lift up. Find that space in your body again. Exhale, bring it back. And then step your feet back together. Okay. So this is when we just invite a pause. So your hands could either be over the center of your chest, perhaps on your tummy, a space where you can connect to your breathing. So just take a few moments to reconnect. Find your mountain once again. Find the ground, the base of your mountain. Find the space at the top. And then everything else in between, the sensation, the flow of your breath, a pulse or a rhythm. Just see what is speaking to you in this moment. And then as you exhale, just let that exhale connect you down through the soles of your feet. So you get anchored again. Maybe even invite a sigh. And on the breath in, sense of expanse, a sense of vitality. Exhale to calm, stabilize. Inhale, rise, lift. So let's just take a standing twist. Now, I think I might move if that's okay, just so if you all go long ways on your mat and I come over here. So if you all face this direction, so we want to go wider through the feet. And I'm going to give you a couple of options here, one that's more accessible and then one that's just slightly more deeper if you'd like to take that. So on a breath in, just take your arms out at shoulder level, so find that expanse, and then I'd just like you to stay there and take up that space with your body. I just always think we should never be afraid to take up space. And then take a breath in and take up a little bit more space. Really anchor down through the feet, and as you exhale, take a journey to your left-hand side. Your arms can be out at shoulder level. And as you inhale, bring yourself to center. Exhale to the right. Now you might like to just soften your knee a little as you rotate round. Breathing in. Now this is where you have the option. You can either stay with an upright twist, which might be more useful for your back, or you could exhale to fold and take your right hand over to your left leg. Your left arm could be up towards the sky or on your lower back. And then all on an inhale, unravel yourself so you come center. And then on an exhale, journey over to the opposite side. So bring yourself up to center and continue from one side to the other with your breath, just exploring that rotation through the spine and then with your abdomen as well. As you come into that twist, you could bring the belly in a little towards the spine, and it might just encourage a little bit more movement and support through your lower back. Just completing on this side. So when you come over to the right side, bring yourself to center. Take up that space again. Exhale, ground, just maybe active through your fingertips. And then forward fold. Bring your hands to your lower back. Or you could also bring your hands along the legs towards the ground in front of you. And just pause there for a few moments. As you breathe in, just welcome some length, welcome some space into your body. As you breathe out, an opportunity to soften a little. So make sure your knees are slightly released. Softening into your neck and shoulders. And then take your time to rise gradually, just finding that space again. Slowly rise. Relax the arms by your sides and then step your feet back together. And just a quick check-in, just notice how you feel. How are we doing? Okay. So let's bring it down to the ground. We're going to come through almost like you're kind of walking down into a downward facing dog. But if you prefer not to take a down dog, then come onto all fours. So you're kind of either walking into this kind of shape with the knees released, or this shape and taking the bottom back. So I just would like you to make that decision for yourselves. So find your way, walking down, finding the ground, either walking the hands out in front of you into a down dog. I mean, you're welcome to do both. You're welcome to lower the knees and lift up to a down dog, or you might prefer to stay in down dog. And just think about lifting through your tailbone. So if you're in downward facing dog, the shoulders should be further back towards the feet. So imagine your chest moving towards your knees, finding some length and space along the spine. Encourage a softness into your shoulders and neck, so try not to carry tension into your neck. And think about the chest moving in the direction towards your hamstrings. And then, when you're ready, just let your knees find the ground. You could either have your toes tucked under or soften the tops of your feet. And then let your pelvis move itself in the direction of your heels. Now, some of you, your knees might not be very happy in this position, so just keeping your hips lifted could be really useful, and resting your head onto your hands. Some of you may find that you're able to come into child's pose, so you could just release down through the body a little more, but I'd like you to be comfortable here, that's the key, so that you can breathe freely. The definition of asana, which is the postures, is steadiness and comfort, so stability and comfort. So it's important for us to feel a balance of the two, for us to feel stable and steady in our body, but also comfortable and at ease. So in your time, stretch yourself onto the front of your body. So let yourself find the ground through the front of the body. In fact, actually, before you go there, I will just run through what we're going to do, and then I'm not asking you to come up and down. That's just easier. So just take a few moments to find a comfortable seat. So we're going to do some work into Cobra. And to start with, we'll keep the hands on the ground, and we'll think about an inhale that rises. And as we lower down, exhale, bending the knees and drawing the heels in. So breath in, lowering, breath out, lower down. And then we'll start exploring that a little more, so that as we breathe in, we'll do both and bring the elbows in. That's optional. You know, you can stay with the previous variation as well. So we just begin to take a little more into the back of the body, a little more expanse through the front of the body. And then when we've done that a few times, we're going to go on a little leg exploration. So we come into our supported Cobra with the elbows. And then it's like you're going to look over your shoulder as you invite your knee in towards you. And then on a breath in, come back. So kind of like you're a little gecko on the ground. And then when you've taken that a few times, we'll just stay for a while. Does that sound okay? Now, if at any stage those positions don't feel accessible, then come back to the previous version, or like I said earlier, just come to rest. So if we come onto the front of your body, let your head rest onto the ground. Just for a few moments, enjoy that space. If you can, if possible, just enjoy a sense of coming down through the front of the body. If the feet feel a little uncomfortable, you could tuck your toes under. And then rest your head onto your hands. So if you haven't done so already, just make a cushion with your head, for your head with your hands. And the next time that you breathe in, lifting your chest and your head off the ground. And then as you breathe out, lower down and bend the knees and invite the heels in towards you. Breathe in, release the feet down, lift the head, lift the chest. Breathe out, lower down and invite the heels in. So just continue with this new rhythm, a new path, a new journey for a few more moments. And then when you feel ready, just pause. And we'll go into the next phase if you'd like to. So as you rise into that shape again, this time inviting the hands off the ground and drawing them in towards the rib cage as you bend the knees. Now, if that feels a little bit too much, you could leave the hands on the ground still, but lift the thighs and lift the chest and the head. So either of those two might be an accessible option for you. And just see how that feels through your body. So this is a really useful way to strengthen your back, like a nice little back MOT. But also engaging through your hamstrings, through your glutes, through your shoulders. And maybe after the round that you're on, just pause again, or you could take another round and then pause again. So just take your time. And then the next option then is to lift yourself up. So you stack yourself onto the elbows now. And your hands are on the ground in front of you. And relax your shoulders. So try not to drop between the shoulders. Lift through the elbows, lifting the chest. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, guide your left knee towards you. So you roll onto your right hip a little. And guide your left knee towards you. And then inhale and come back to center. Exhale, guide your right knee in. Have a little look over your right shoulder. Inhale and come back. So take a look around. You know, when we're out in the hills or in the mountains, we want to explore the view. We want to take a look around. So imagine this is what you're doing. And you could also see it from the eyes of the gecko maybe on the ground. Exploring new terrain with your body. And just taking that maybe once more on each side until you come to be still in that Cobra position. So the Cobra position is the central position where you're stacked onto your elbows. Now some of you may find that being here for too long might just be a little bit too much. Then you could lower down and bring the hands alongside the rib cage, and it's just a little lower down towards the ground. But have a sense that as you breathe in, you could almost pull yourself forwards. So press into the hands, a little bit of grip on the mat. Keep your chin slightly drawn in. And as you breathe in, imagine you're pulling yourself forwards, but your pelvis is rooted down. On the breath out, encourage your abdomen to come in towards the spine. So bringing in that core for your body, for your pelvis and your lower back. Inhale and imagine moving forwards again. But there's this stillness, there's this deep stillness, but you're still expanding. Whenever you feel ready, just soften and lower yourself down. Just take a few moments to settle. Come back to this idea of steadiness and ease, stability and ease. And then I'd like you just very slowly to find yourselves on the backs of your body. So bring yourselves over. Maybe your head just goes to the opposite end of the mat, depending on where you are in the space. If you want to, at this stage, put extra layers. If your body temperature's dropped, and just take your time to do that, because we'll move this into a relaxation very shortly. So if you're feeling like you'd just like some extra layers, just take your time to grab something. If you're already on the ground and you're feeling settled, then invite the knees in over your tummy. Bring those knees in. Give yourself a little rock, a little sway. And here you could stretch your feet up towards the sky if you'd like to. Just press through the heels. Release the knees back down again. So you could do one foot at a time, or you could take both feet up. Starting to get noisy, so we're going to start to wind this down. This is when it's really key to focus, when there's all this external distraction. When you've done that a few times, just bring your feet to the floor, and almost like you're kind of zigzagging the knees, just one way to one side and one way to the other. Okay. So when you're ready then, coming to rest. Now you may find it comfortable to have your knees bent. That could be a more supportive position for your back. Perhaps some of you would prefer to have your legs straight on the floor. Some of you may even like to rest onto your side. So just take a bit of time to find a comfy position for you to settle. The time always goes so quickly when we're teaching yoga. Okay. So when you feel settled, just take this now as an opportunity to almost take stock of your experience. So notice how you feel in reflection of your practice. So we've journeyed in some way throughout our own landscape. We've discovered some new paths of movement, potentially some paths that we are familiar with. Crossed over a few bridges potentially, or streams. So just notice how that experience has been absorbed, has been felt. What is it that you now feel through the sensation, through finding that contact with the ground, through the back of your body, coming to rest? And try not to resist that temptation to get up and go. Just be with this moment for a little while. And have your palms relaxed. Either they could be by your sides, or if they're in the pockets, just let your palms relax. And I'd like you to imagine that you're inhaling and exhaling through one nostril and then the other. And let your hands be like little kind of releases and absorptions of the breath. So both hands are slightly drawn in towards one another like a little fist. And you take a breath in, and then as you exhale, imagine breathing out through your right nostril and open your right palm. Breathe in and close the right palm, and then exhale through the left nostril and open the left palm. Breathe in through the left nostril, close the left palm. Exhale through the right nostril and open the right palm. So just for a few more moments, continue with that little meditation where you're breathing in and the hands are correlating to left and right. And with each in-breath, have a notion that you are receiving. You're welcoming the vitality of the inhalation, the possibility of the inhale, a sense of expansion. And with each exhale, it has this calming, releasing quality. So as the lungs empty, just allow yourself to empty, moving into that stiller place, perhaps a more peaceful place. The peacefulness of the mountain. And as you breathe in, perhaps it's the energy, the vitality of the landscape. And just making this the last round that you're on. I just want to read a poem. The birds have vanished down the sky. Now the last cloud drains away. We sit together, the mountain and me, until only the mountain remains. And just if you can stay for a few more moments, I'm going to use my little bell. Okay, so in your time, very slowly, just bring yourself back into the day. Imagine you're waking up again, and this is the first breath or the first stretch, the first movement. Just take your time to come back into this space. Maybe stretching in some way that feels pleasant, that feels appropriate, and in your time, just finding a place to sit when you're ready. So when you come to sit, just take a few moments to notice how you feel. If you're comfortable with your hands over the center of your chest at your heart space, just a few moments to acknowledge yourselves, acknowledge your practice, the time that you have set aside for this little moment of exploration, of mindfulness and movement, and also just to acknowledge the ancient practice of yoga. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the session. Just to let you know that this session is supported by Bamboo Clothing, so their stand is just over there. I teach live yoga for them every Friday on Instagram at 9 a.m. So if you ever want to just drop in, I don't see you, but I can see your name. So you can always come and find me there. And then my name is Helen, for anyone who arrived late. So I'm Helen Roscoe, and my website is helenroscoe.com. So you can find me if you'd like to. And I just want to say thanks so much. Enjoy the festival, and enjoy all the activities and whatever you've got stored up for yourselves.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.